Hello everyone, we have a 10-game slate for Friday, starting off with Indy at Charlotte. For the Indiana side, same guys that are going to be available. Sabonis 9,200, he still looks really good at Charlotte. They do have Cody Zeller back now, but he's just not someone that's going to be a big help inside. So Sabonis, he's still got a really good upside of 60 plus points. So he's in play. Brogdon 8,400, definitely him as well with some of the injuries that they still have. Miles Turner, just not someone I want to play at 7,200. And the way that they close their lineup, it's most likely going to be Brogdon and Sabonis for sure, but they didn't close with Turner last time. I would expect usually in a good game because Indiana was just playing really well, so they didn't close with Turner. But Turner should be in there as well. So then you got Lamb, McDermott, Justin Holiday, probably likely as well. McConnell, Aaron Holiday, these guys all fighting for the other spots to close. So it's just not really that safe, obviously, for tournament. That's good tournament plays. But I think on this slate, you don't need to go there. Charlotte side, they do seem a little bit cheap, especially Gordon Hayward. His minutes have been really good, and the matchup, it doesn't stand out, but 7K, it is a little bit cheap, I think, for Hayward. I think he's the best play on the Charlotte side for the main guys here. Cody Zeller, 4K, I think he still is a really good solid value play. They're going to need size, so they're going to need Zeller out there. 4K, I think is too cheap. He should be probably closer to 5K. Biyombo, he barely played. He played really short rotations, so that just helps Zeller out a lot. Bridges, he's fine, but I just prefer Zeller. LaMelo, in the event that Rozier or Graham get into foul trouble, definitely Ball could benefit that way. But the coach has said that he doesn't want to give LaMelo the minutes right now because of just his turnover issues. Graham and Rozier, same price now. It's tough choosing between them, so a lot of people just avoid it. Tournaments, definitely, take shots on both of them. Atlanta, Washington, this should be a really good game. Capella, he should be in for this one probable. So I know that I've been really against playing Capella, but this is a spot that you can definitely play him in. His price is a little bit better now, and because he's coming off of a down game, his minutes weren't there. His ownership shouldn't be that high. Washington is one of the worst rebounding teams. They get blocked a lot as well, so it just sets up really well for Capella. Trae Young, 9,100, going to be my favorite play here. One of my top plays of the slate. Washington is just a team that you want to target. All opponents just seem to have really good games, like the entire team. So Trae, one of my favorite plays. John Collins, he's fine as well. But Capella, when he's playing, I'm just not really a big fan of Collins. Hunter, he's fine. Herder, not someone I want to go to. Just really low usage with Trae and Reddish. If he's able to play, he's questionable right now with a quad injury. I would have interest in him just again because of the matchup and Bogdanovich still being out and Gallo being limited. Washington side, Westbrook, he should have played 29 minutes last time if it didn't blow out. And I expect him to play maybe like 32 at least this game. This is a very good matchup. He hasn't been playing well, but, Atlanta, this is a spot where Westbrook can definitely get right. They are getting back some reinforcement with Bertans, Hachimura, Wagner. We don't know about the center rotation, though, because these guys likely, they have missed a bit, so they'll probably be limited, but I think the usage for Beal and Westbrook, they're still going to be really good. So it doesn't really hurt my interest in them. So Westbrook, Beal, going to be the top plays. Just wait and see for these guys. I don't think I want to go to any of these guys. It is a good matchup again, but just these guys take up so much of the usage. Milwaukee, New Orleans seems like a pretty good game as well. Giannis 10.8K against the Pelicans looks really good. This could definitely be a competitive game again. So Giannis, in those competitive games, we're getting big minutes, so he's going to be a good play. Middleton, price a little bit high for me. I'd rather go to Drew, actually, than Middleton. 7K if you're into revenge. This is the narrative. Drew was traded by the Pelicans before the season started. For other guys, Portis, 4,200, he's someone that can benefit a little bit if it's a blowout, and if Giannis and Brook Lopez gets into foul trouble. For the New Orleans side, I would expect Lonzo to be in. He is questionable because they said that he could have returned last game, but because they have a back-to-back set, that they want him healthy for both ends. So, if that's the case, Lonzo, if he's in, then, it's not going to be as much interest for me for Bledsoe and Walker. If he's out, then, Bledsoe, big boost, no, as well. So, I think other than guys, Ingram, Zion, they look good. I prefer Ingram, especially if Lonzo is out. That's going to help his assist upside. And just in general, Ingram's a way better passer, more assists than Zion. Zion has a tough match against Giannis, so there's foul trouble risk. Offensively, he could definitely have some struggles. Now, JJ Redick, I know he's a 3K minimum. He hasn't been good, but that's why I want to maybe take some shots on it. 3K Milwaukee gives up a lot of threes. His minutes haven't been great. If Lonzo is out, there's definitely a path for more minutes, close to the 20. Redick, he just needs to knock down his shots. He hasn't been, and because he's not playing well, his minutes also haven't been there. So this is a spot where maybe Redick can actually start having a good game. So he's someone on my radar. Cleveland, New York, this should be a very low-scoring game. These teams, their defense has been actually pretty solid. Drummond, he didn't share minutes with Allen last time with Nance out. Nance is questionable right now. They actually had a new lineup with Osman in and Garland back, so it probably is not going to happen. So Drummond, not as much interest, but if Nance is still out, that just still helps his usage though. His rates are a lot better, so in that case, then I'll have a little bit of interest. But New York, just that's why New York is a team that we can target again or for centers, so that's why I don't have interest. Other guys, Sexton, he's good as well. Garland, I think he's fine. Both of those guards do dominate a lot of the shots, so that's why I would look to them. Okoro 3900, but a slow paced game, not the best situation for him. For the New York side, they're getting a little bit healthier. Bullock could be back, so the lineup, we don't know if Burke is going to start again. If he does, I'll have some interest just because he has some upside. Barrett's price is a little bit better, but still, he's just not really been that productive. Not a lot of good games, very low floor. Randall 9300, he's fine, but Cavs have a lot of good size now on their team. And if Nance plays, that's even more size that they can throw at Randall. So it's a little bit tough for Randall in this spot. If Nance is out, that definitely helps a little bit because if they're going to go small again with Osman, it's going to look a lot better for him. For Sacramento, this should be a really good game. Fox is okay at 8,500, but I think Toronto has some better plays. Buddy Hield, he had a great game last time, so I don't really want to chase. Barnes is okay at 6K. Halliburton 4,800. He has the chance to close, and he can play over 30 minutes. So at this price tag, he definitely has upside for it. So he's someone that I will look to. For the Toronto side, though, I was really surprised by their prices. Sacramento is one of the best fantasy matchups, and it doesn't matter if OG is in or out. VanVleet, Siakam, and Lowry, they're all going to be really good plays here. Someone's going to have a really good game. It can be multiple of them. I would say that Lowry's the best because of the savings, but if you can't fit another point guard in, go with VanVleet. VanVleet's defensive stats have been better than Lowry. He takes more threes. These guys are pretty similar, and last time I always favored Lowry, but the minutes didn't stagger out like how they're used to, so I don't know how they're going to turn out this game, but you could definitely see any of these three guys have big games. So I like all of them. I think you can set a group that's at most two of these three. If OG's in, that's going to hurt. I would say obviously Powell, because he's probably not going to start then. Boucher, Stanley Johnson, Aaron Baines, but those are usually guys I want. Boucher, I think he's a little bit interesting because he's not going to be high owned. His minutes haven't been there, but also the matchups just haven't been right. This is a spot where Boucher actually got a lot of minutes last time when they played, just because Rashawn Holmes isn't that big of a center, and he also doesn't shoot. So Boucher can stay on the floor in this matchup, and there's just a big-time ceiling for him. For the Philly side, Embiid is questionable, so we don't really know what to do. If he's out, then Simmons and Tobias look really good. I think Seth Curry at 4,400, there's 30-point upside with him. This is a matchup where he can definitely get a lot of looks. And if he knocks some shots down, he's going to get fed the ball more. If Embiid is out, then Dwight we can look to for value. Tony Bradley as well. Shake Milton looks pretty good as well. So wait and see for Philly. There should be someone good here. Minnesota side, D'Lo questionable. So there's a lot of things that we're going to have to reevaluate for this game. If he's out, Malik Beasley, Naz Reid, Rubio, Edwards. So I'll update this when we do get the news. For Brooklyn side, there's a lot of blowout risk. If you're playing one of these Brooklyn guys, probably play an OKC player to run it back with. Harden, his usage is a lot better. His minutes were really intriguing. He's getting staggered with Irving and Durant. Irving Durant playing pretty much always with each other, so that's going to help Harden. Their rotation has been pretty compact, so Harden looks pretty good, but there's blowout risk. For the OKC side, I would say play SGA, play Horford, because Brooklyn's been really bad defensively, especially against centers. Horford wasn't on limit last time. Usually the minutes for the OKC guys aren't that great because they're just in the rebuild mode. Beasley, he's okay. Dort, he's going to be needed for defense, so his minutes should be pretty solid, but he's just not a good enough offensive player right now. For the Clippers side, Kawhi and Paul George could return sometime during their road trip, so it could be today for this game. So gotta wait and see. If they're back, I don't think they're going to be limited, but the prices aren't really tempting. Orlando's also not a matchup that would really target. For the Orlando side, Michael Carter-Williams already ruled out, so the rotation should be still the same. But again, I can't really make any judgments here because for the Clippers, like we just don't know who's going to be in. If George, Kawhi are going to be back, then defensively, this is just a whole new game. For the Denver side, Michael Porter Jr. still is not starting, but he's getting big minutes, so that's hurting Will Barnes. Will Barnes' price is nice, but just his minutes aren't going to be there, and I think sooner or later we're going to see MPJ starting. So Jokic, 10.1K, he's starting to get a little bit cheaper. The Spurs are one of the worst defensive rebounding teams, so Jokic is going to look pretty good. They also allow a lot of threes. Jamal Murray, 6,900. Spurs haven't been that great against point guards either, so Murray's okay. Gary Harris, PJ Dozier is out, so he gets a bump. Monte Morris as well. For the Spurs, they look pretty good as well. I think they're cheap. DeRozan, good play. DeJounte Murray, though, he's the guy that I prefer from the Spurs side, but I think you can play at least two of these guys. I do expect at least one person to be in the tournament winning lineup because their price is just so cheap. Derek White, if he's back, he's still going to be limited, so that's going to hurt Lonnie and Murray, but I think Murray just is too good of a play because the Nuggets, they struggle the most against point guards, and DeJounte Murray is someone who can contribute in a multitude of ways. So I really like Murray. 6,100 is way too cheap. DeRozan, someone I like as well. Kellen Johnson, he has upside, so he'll be in my pool. Aldridge, same thing with him, but this is a tough match against Jokic. And then Devin Vassell, 3,500. He didn't get the minutes last time. Don't know if that's going to continue, but he is cheap enough, so if we need value. Dallas, Luka, 10.6K, they got back a lot of their guys, but they're still being limited, so I think Luka, Porzingis, they're still fine. THJ, not someone I want to go to in this spot. So it's mostly just these two guys at the top. And then for Utah, we don't know if Donovan Mitchell's going to be back from his concussion, but if he's still in or out, Gobert's still going to look really good, 7,500. I don't want to play him again just because the public's going to be there. Like, he had his game, I already played him last time, so this time I think he's still too cheap. He can definitely still dominate. Mitchell being out, you can definitely see them run more pick and rolls, but Gobert's not someone going to dominate usage at all. Clarkson, Conley, Ingles, they all look great if Mitchell's going to be out. Boyan as well. He just did knock down his shots, but minutes were definitely good. So for the first look, Trae Young looking like one of the better plays. And then Cody Zeller can be, for right now, we're going to go with him for a value play. And then Toronto, going to put in Fred VanVleet right now, just because I do have point guards already taking up the spots. And then I will reevaluate this if Lonzo is in. For right now, I'm going to plug in Ingram because I do think New Orleans can keep the game competitive. And then the final play is going to be DeJounte Murray. So that's going to be the core five right now. And as always, if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like before we go. If you have any questions on the slate, I'll update my core plays, my value plays on my Twitter app. All Fool's link will be in the description below. So good luck on the slate, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.